you have to do is follow the recipe. This is going to be easy. Let's see what's next.
I want more.
Okay, select campaign company. Chat, do we want to do Special Forces, US Airborne, or the UK in
All you have to do is follow the recipe. This is going to be easy. All you have to do is follow the recipe. This is going to be easy. Let's see what's next.
I want more romancing. A little bit more romancing. Oh, that's the kind of loving that I adore. So give me just a little bit more.
Want to know what's absurd? Taco Tuesday is trademarked. Fortunately, someone's going to do something about it.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of powerful destruction. The sound of molecules air-purifying pico technology safely dismantling pollen, mold, viruses, bacteria, and chemicals at a molecular level, leaving behind crisp,
All you have
I feel like Nick's looks like his
sport. You and I have come a long way. It was such humble beginnings. As we gathered in small groups, we were professionals right from the start. Passionate, organized, and ready to rumble. We dreamed big, and surely enough, our parents supported us at every step of the way. Didn't they? Fired up by all this love, it wasn't long until we caught the scent of competition. To be honest with you, it wasn't always that easy. Joe here, he had to take on 2 side jobs to afford playing professionally. It's gonna get better, Joe. Fist bump. Some of you dared to not even call this a sport. And look where we are today. An endless stream of esports events every year. Bet you didn't see that coming, Mom and Dad. And you know what? We have been with you every single step of the way.
Dream of working with people you watch on screen. Exclusive esports opportunities handpicked just for you. Candidate profile to raise above competition. Let 10GG handle routines. Make a step towards your dream today.
Alright, hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Counter-Strike continues in the Pinnacle Cup of Brazil edition here, and, well, joining me is Ted. You were here the last game, you're still here today. What's up?
Yeah. Well, I was about to say not much, but actually a lot has been happening. You know, the first game was, I wouldn't say wild, but it was really interesting, especially towards the latter stages of it. Obviously, the Red Canids were able to qualify for the playoffs. Unfortunately, the Union got eliminated from the tournament, but yeah, I'm doing really fine. I mean, it's, it's like 11 p.m. for me right now. I'm still having a cup of coffee, so I'm feeling great, and I can't wait towards some more CS.
Yeah, it sounds great. You know what? A cup of coffee sounds nice, but I feel like I would overdose. I feel like it would be too much at this point. Already slurring my words.
I'm a coffee
all
person.
Over the place, but
I'm a coffee
great.
person. I can go for it at like 11 p.m., 1 a.m. It's fine. But that's just
that
me. Don't do
grandma
that
energy.
at home.
I don't know how, but you got that same energy as my grandma does. I don't know how it's possible. But
I'm not sure
nonetheless,
that's a good
we're going to be entering. That's a great thing. She can drink a cup of coffee, go to sleep right after. I don't know how,
Okay.
but it works for some people. Others, it doesn't. But what's next for us, you and me, is Windingo versus Mibr Academy. Another one of these 2-2 games. Winner advances to playoffs, losing team eliminated. All or nothing at this point. We've seen what these teams have had to offer each other for a while now. And yet again, we'll see this matchup. We saw the same matchup apparently about a month ago in the CCT South American Series, by the way, as a fun fact. And, well, back then, Windingo took that game. We have something that might be coming back to haunt them in this game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both these teams, it's been kind of like a roller coaster for them, I guess, going through this tournament so far. We're going to get through the lineups real quick. Obviously, we have the Argentinian side of Windingo that, they have been playing some solid CS. I guess for them, a roller coaster is the best way to describe it, right? They started off losing to Odic in an 0-2 fashion, then they beat Hype in a 2-0 fashion, then they lose to Oplano in another 0-2 game, and then in the most recent matchup that they did play in the Pinnacle Cup Brazil, they did manage to take down Case and eliminate him from the competition. But so far, it's felt like for them, they've been able to perform against the teams that you would expect them to beat, but then they've been short of upsets, right? We haven't really seen them kind of go past their limits against the top dogs in the competition so far, and this is something that needs to change today. Well, that is if you consider Mibr Academy to be one of the top dogs.
Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know if I do, but I remember seeing one of their last games, I believe, against 9Z Academy only a couple days ago. They played some real solid Counter-Strike. We were impressed with how they played. 9Z Academy as well, they played fairly alright in that game, right? I think Mirage went real bad for them, at least in the start, but Mibr Academy, they played some real damn good Counter-Strike. They had multi-kills out the wazoo, individuals stepping up. They had basically nothing wrong in their game plan itself. It was really solid, so I don't really know where to put them against this version of Windingo right now.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's a bit
momentum.
tough. It's a
Yeah,
bit
the
tough
momentum
because
is
they've
kind of
been...
the one thing we can work off of, but besides that, I don't know.
Yeah, they've been playing against some solid oppositions, right? You look at the, yeah, I guess you get the FF win against Arctic, then you're just fortunate about it, but then they were able to take down the Red Canids. They had to play Fury Academy and then Odic to qualify for the playoffs. So you look at both those teams, they could be considered top dogs. So for Mibr Academy, things haven't really been swift, I guess. I mean, they were able to get a map off of Odic, which was impressive enough, but today they will have to be on their A game.
100%, and we'll have to see how that goes as well. Now, I said we've seen these teams play each other about a month ago. Back then, we saw maps like Ancient, we saw Nuke, and ooh, okay, interesting. We didn't see Overpass. It was floated back in that video. We saw Mirage as a potential third, so definitely some changes since the last one, but we are left with a map pool of Overpass, Mirage, and Nuke. A wonderful little switch up of every single kind of Counter-Strike map you could imagine. That's what the variety we have.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, to be fair. Overpass is not ideal for either side. I guess what you're betting on if you're Mibr Academy is the fact that out of the 3 Overpasses that Windingo's played, they are yet to actually get even up to double digits. They've lost all 3 of them. Mibr Academy hasn't been great on this map either, but they've had some close games, right? Especially the maps against Fury Academy and Odic, which, you know, they both lost, but Fury Academy was overtime. Odic was 12-16, so I guess this one makes a lot of sense. It is a map that apparently they want to get into their veto, and a map that they want to add, and a map on which they feel like they can start feeling comfortable in the future, so to speak. As in Mirage, I guess there's no surprises there. It was the map that they picked the first time they faced off against each other, and well, actually, that makes it quite comfortable for Mibr Academy. I'm just realizing that. That's a great veto for them. That was, I said Mirage was the map that they picked in the first time they faced off against each other. That was the map that Mibr Academy picked against Windingo in that game. Windingo picked, if I'm not mistaken, Anubis back then. So this is looking really, really good for Mibr Academy. And the Nuke Decider, I guess it's a little bit of a 50-50. But looking at the veto, I guess the team that's maybe coming in as the favorite, if we can put Windingo in that position, is actually the one to get bested in a way in the veto phase. I feel like Mibr Academy can be really happy with how things went.
I 100% do agree with that one as well, right? You like to put it as well. Overpass hasn't been the greatest for Windingo. Now, the teams they played were Odic, which, fair enough, 16-7, Boca Juniors, 16-9, and a case game as well. They played with a 69 score again, just yesterday, or the day before, actually. But I want to say, Odic, that's one of the teams that you're like, okay, that makes sense. Boca Juniors, I saw a couple games as of recent. They played really damn good. They were surprising me and Overseer when we were watching them. So, honestly, not too surprised. But against Case, who, to both me and CR, when we looked at them, I feel like they're a team that should perform better than they currently are. They've got the individuals, they've got the sum, but it's just not adding up for some reason, interestingly enough. So to lose against Case on Overpass might actually show a bit more weakness than I thought it could have been.
Yeah, I mean, KC Sports is one of those really awkward ones, by the way. Considering that the organization has been around, I guess it's a bit off topic, but considering that the organization has been around for, what, like 3 years now? They entered around COVID times, and they've changed a lot of players. Theo has been there for a long time, and especially because of Theo being on that team, and you know the player that he is, in the experience that he's had on top level, you expect a little bit more. But yeah, I guess if we go and judge by the results, there's a lot of things that we can bring up. One thing that I wanted to talk about is the individual performance of some of those players. The fact that Mibr Academy so far, because they went for that massive rebuild 4 months ago, right? And Card is the only one left from the original lineup, and they bring 4 new members in. The individual performance is going to be absolutely vital to what happens today, right? You look at the ratings of the players, you look at how they've been performing so far. Nyx has been the only rifler, because obviously Card is the one holding the AVP, but Nyx is the only rifler that has been able to post above 1 rating so far in this tournament, and the only one that's close to 1 rating so far in the last 4 months since joining the team, right? Everyone else is below that. Everyone else has been, I guess it's safe to say, underperforming, right? Especially for those kinds of players. Now, I know that for some of them, this is the first team that they're joining. I mean, Burns actually played on Young Gods before. PHX was on Daytona, so you expect a little bit more from him. He's got some more experience. Nyx is one of those guys that hasn't really played any professional CS prior to joining the Academy of MIBR, right? He's only 17 years of age. And you look at his career so far, it hasn't really been, I guess, supported by a lot of experience, but he's still doing an all right job. But they need their rifles to step it up today, because on the other side, you look at a team that's not AWP orientated. You look at a team that's got some pretty capable riflers. Windingo so far haven't really shown that they rely on Faxwell to carry the team hard through a game. And you know, this is something that I feel like I've missed from MIBR Academy so far in this tournament. The fact that it feels like it's either Card or Snow One.
Yeah, I do agree a little bit on that as well, but I do want to piggyback off what I saw recently as well with their game against the Fury Academy, or 90 Academy, excuse me, where they did have that insane individual performances, right? That was one of the games where I saw the stars lighting up the right way, the way they wanted to as well. Then, right after, in their previous game here as well, they did have that 2-1 loss against Audic. They showed that, okay, they can still fight back. Card was very consistent there again. You're asking the AWP again. He's going to be playing well every game, basically. But then who's going to be the next man? Diozera was up in line as well. He had 62 kills, the second best on that team as well. And everyone else kind of performing, but not to the level you want them to. Slightly underperforming, as you said it, as you put it. So you need a little bit more squeezed out of this MIBR Academy lineup. Now, we're hoping we can see that, but at the moment when we're headed into this one, Windingo do look like a bit more of a solid team, a more structured, well put together team that doesn't rely on just 1 or 2 players popping off at a day, unfortunately. So that's kind of the bottom line of how we're going to be looking at this at the moment.
Yeah, I guess that you look at a team, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of success for Argentinian projects, so that's the reason I'm actually I'm not sure if I can call myself a fan, but I like what those guys are doing, right? The fact that they're able to bring up a team and, you know, they're not using your, let's say your Mayern, who was, you know, the guy to get picked up by MIBR. He got a chance to play with Fallen and Fur and all of those guys, and you're not using this guy. You're using 5 completely newer players, right? And I like the fact that they're still able to bring up some good CS to the table. I like the performance from Riggy so far. Restic has been having a really good event as well. Bishop, I guess, last 3 months has been really impactful, and he still is really impactful up to this day to their T size. But with him, consistency has been a bit of a problem. Obviously, this is something that we can say about a lot of entries, especially in modern day CS. It's really hard to be a sustainable, really successful entry, but the rifle work has been really good when you look at Windingo, and the fact that, you know, they haven't been able to best some of the top opposition so far, and now they're facing off against a team which, you know, had to play only against really good teams. It makes up for a really interesting matchup. I'm still looking at Windingo and still having them as the favorites, at least in my eyes, but taking a look at MIBR Academy, taking a look at the fact that they've been able to bring it so close every single time, but haven't been able to close it out, I feel like this is just the lack of experience on some of the players, and I really feel like this is going to play a massive role in a game like that, especially when you know that the pressure is going to be a little bit higher. You're playing for elimination. This is actually the first time that MIBR Academy are going to be playing to stay in the tournament, right? When you think about it from that perspective, it's the second time for Windingo when they've been close. They were when they played against Case, and they were able to win that game 2-1. So they know what's it like to feel like you're just 1 map or 2 maps away from being eliminated. And MIBR Academy haven't really felt that so far in the tournament. And for a newer team with, well, I say a newer team, a newer lineup with younger players, you haven't been in that situation too many times, especially in the tournament that's really important for you. So I guess that could play a role as well.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to say as well. When you do put it that, or when you do look at it that way, it is perhaps a tough position for MIBR Academy, but if nothing else, right, if they want to look at it on the bright side, they can fully let loose here and do whatever they can to try and win this match, head to that playoffs and put up a solid performance against an opponent like Windingo, who basically, we can put them against nearly anyone and say that they're a 50-50 team in the Brazilian scene, right? South American scene.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, they have that sort of performance. They have that sort of power, and it's just a really solid squad overall. But it might be our academy slightly more focused. I think if we can squeeze out that little extra 10% from everyone, just one or two little plays that they can make out in a team or in a game, that's exactly the sort of thing we're going to be looking at them, and they're going to be like close to a contender, at least in the talk as the same sort of team as Windingo potentially.
Yeah. I guess the reason we're putting them as a 50-50 is exactly what we mentioned a couple of minutes ago, right? The fact that they're able to win against the teams that you expect them to beat, but then they're not able to upset the teams that are above them in the domestic rankings, right? This is something that I guess wouldn't really have to play into fruition today because they are on a higher seed compared to Mibr Academy. But with that being said, we're ready to jump into map number 1. It's going to be Overpass Windingo, starting on the CT side of things. This is Mibr on their own map pick. We'll be starting on the offense with a cheeky 4-man walkthrough connector so far, but Windingo pretty spread out. 3 players towards that A-bomb site. Look quite prepared for a play like this.
Seemingly so. They've got a decent idea. I like the jump spot as well. You're hiding your head behind the pillar in case they get up close, but still signing his own death warrant here, though. Getting towards that A side, smoke deployed for buy jump. Flashbang going up at the CT side, looking to defend 1. Here's the long play coming out, and Rigi didn't catch it, not the time, and instead you're asking for the CT players to still remain at the site to buy enough time for the rotates, which, sure, Preddy has come toward the site, and an opportunity has been created with the timing, but it doesn't mean that T-side isn't aware of the possibility. Resting as well toward the toilets, waiting for his own chance. But they are burning down the clock, and, well, speaking of it, there goes DLZ to burn a little bit more than just the clock. The last man standing no longer. And Mibr Academy, they put up a wonderful first round when it comes to the results.
Yeah, that was a good pistol.
Entry.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good pistol. Nice double from DO0, nice double from Card. They were able to catch them off guard. It just felt like it was really uncomfortable for Windingo as soon as Faxwell was isolated towards the backup Optimus there. He gets 1 kill, doesn't realize that players could swing towards, striking towards Bang that quickly, and he was just in the middle of nowhere. Of course, they're going to go for the force buy, so we're going to see a couple of graded pistols in the scout into that second round. Still a lot of rifles on the other side. Pretty hefty rifle investment from Mibr when you think about it. Not a lot of util. I guess DO0 is the one that decided to take one for the team, downgrade himself to a MAC-10, and have those extra nades to open up the distance. But again, something they need to be really careful about. Faxwell was posted on that long angle. If he's able to get away with a kill or a tag and then fall back and soften up a couple of the players, this could be really dangerous. That's a great shot from Faxwell.
Yep. Beautiful opening. Also, I believe, yeah, there's an upgrade for DOZ if he managed to get back up through connector. He's ready for the boost here, but the timing won't work in his favor, unfortunately, though. You put it the right way. Now, the utility is lacking a little bit on that T side. That's why they are moving in a group like this as well. If they do manage to get that 1 or 2, they might just commit off the back of that, but Faxwell's scout wasn't part of the plan here, though. The Desert Eagle goes down. They realize another man is here, another man at the site with the flashbangs. And out of this, they do pop smoke to lock down those rotates, and they are trying to hunt down the scout, which they do. That's a missed dumpster smoke.
Yeah.
How often do you see that?
Not too often. You know, it's one of those things that if it fails, if it fails in a full buy round, then it's quite dangerous. But I guess you can get away with it. They know they failed it, and well, they still win the round. Card is on 5-0. Another nice triple from him, but that's one of those rounds that really something has to go horribly wrong for it to go in favor of the CTs, even with that opening kill, right? Even when you're walking into the stack towards the A-bomb side, eventually they had to go for the flash play. They felt like they were too compromised. They felt like too much time has passed since something's happened around the map, so they needed some confirmation of what's going on. You don't want to put your eggs into the basket of the 2 players boosted up towards short, right? Especially if it's monster walk. So they wanted to go for something, wanted to catch them off guard. Timing was nearly perfect, to be fair. I mean, they almost had it right, but the majority of the players were just going through the toilet, so impossible to flash them there. And soon after the first player towards Banana fell, The second and the third towards the back of the side follow suit. So 2-0 MIBR Academy on the T side. It's a great start. Fuiko coming in for the CT, so potentially a 3-0 start here. Nice to see Card getting on high numbers early on. I mean, we did point out that he's been the one-man show so far for MIBR Academy.
He's been the one-man show with a constantly revolving door of jokers deciding to step up, basically. But we'll see who that could be today. Who is going to be that today? Maybe a couple different jokers showing up. Or X-Factors, as they're more likely called in CSGO.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I know you meant it in a nice way, but calling someone a joker...
Yeah, it just sounds like, a little nice.
Yeah, Card is playing nicely, and then he's got a couple of jokers, and he's hoping that someone decides to help him out.
You know, not in the, I know I got these scars kind of way, but you know, they're gonna be there to, mess things up a little bit on the opposing side.
If this was a game of cards, they would be the Joker. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Good round for Phoenix, by the way. Mentioned Card getting 5-0. Here he goes, 4-1. Quite out of that round, and you know, 2 flashbangs into Monster, not a bad idea, but I think the flash popped a little bit too early and too high. Wasn't the perfect lineup. It wasn't the one that blinds the further play or players further back. That doesn't matter too much. Pistols anyway. Here, interesting. We are seeing a format stack out toward the A side immediately as well, with Rigi through long, his teammate joining Fountain. Playing off each other a little bit, bait and switch coming out with Foxwell slightly behind as well. But short control comes to question, and the CT side, they do shut this one down. It's important to find that, considering it is that 3-man A stack they have.
Yeah, problem with this is pretty much unconfirmed, right? They have no idea that the CTs have so much presence. So now they will go back, especially after losing the first 2 players towards the B-bomb side. They will fall back thinking they can regain that control, and surprise, surprise, there's 2 people behind you.
The Joker showing up, but what is this? They're not turning. Phoenix, no burns, neither one checks behind them. What is that? Okay. That's a clean run for Windingo. Not a single casualty, is well played out of the CT side there. And they went every single dude they needed. Had one of those kills on B side going the other way, MIBR Academy would have been tempted to go there. But they got sent searching for answers on the other side of the map, and that goes against them again. And for Windingo, well, basically the perfect start they could have had after losing the pistol and the force buy.
Yeah, they're gonna go for a 4-man tower later on. Failed it. Gonna go for it again. Yep. Trains arrived.
Can we get eyes on, yeah, can we get eyes on Rigi, please, on the boost? Is he jumping? Come on. Yeah, man.
They've invested 30 seconds already into it. 35, almost.
Yeah, no usual being shown anywhere either. They get an idea. Flashop thinks about it. Maybe there's something happening, but Zero does shut down that, or shut down the play.
I think that's the first time I've seen someone stay on the boost for that long.
I mean, they really wanted that kill, man. You gotta give it to them.
Yeah.
Trouble is, though, if the CT side had any sort of mid control, that play kind of comes crumbling down. Quite literally in this case as well. Ooh. Good nade. Flashbang in. Lot relies on the hands of Restic. Flashbangs into the side. He's got a teammate now, counter flash coming in. Can swing with that as well, but at the east side, they still got a couple flashes of their own. Try and get into the site is not so easy, but 2 trades do come out eventually, and we are playing the CT side with the man disadvantage. Rigi still once more the action in 30 seconds, confirms the bomb still here as well. Has to be regained. Good Molotov. Knows his lineups, but Rigi knows where to find his headshots. On the real agent, Phoenix as well. On the ashes of his teammates, wants to rise, but can't do so. Stopped the CT side, this time not clean, down to 1. But around they win it nonetheless.
That was a big round from Rigi, man. I mean, Rustic is able to get away with a double here, which is absolutely massive, but then Rigi on the rotation just drops down Walter, able to isolate 3 separate 1v1s. Great utility, by the way, as well. The fact that they were able to tag down 2 of the players, only using nades and molotovs to make them pretty much free kills for Rigi later on, that was great. Good defense from Windingo. That was a round in which they lost the first kill as well. Well, that HE didn't go as planned, but, you know, there was nowhere there, regardless, so not missing on any damage. How
For
about
MIBR
coming in
Academy,
for
it's
MIBR
conditioning
Academy?
them, letting them know they are going to be mid nades coming. They might want to slow things down every now and then when they head towards mid. A little bit of mind games. Here come the flashbang. Here go to T side. Into what to say. Rigi, last round. Double. This time, Restic and Rigi both one apiece. Fall back alongside his teammate as well. And now, there's nowhere really to go in here for the T side. No open gaps. Nothing of the sort. Flashbangs into Monster. Here's Phoenix here in the pillar. And MIBR, they're kind of screwed. Oh, wow. Uh-oh. Oh, no. They skipped leg day.
You can repeat what you just said. They are kind of screwed.
No, I was gonna say they skipped leg day again, but that's fine.
Well, yeah, that as well. They're not supposed to skip leg day.
Nah, not this time. But somehow, look at this card's gotten away. Though they've got 2 here, so he's done.
Yep. What? Lock.
What?
I'm not sure how he's alive still. Okay, he finally goes down. He was alive for a little bit longer. You know, something's up with this game and timings. First, the fact that they were standing on the 4-man tower with the open T-spawn for 45 seconds. Then the fact that he's alive with the Glock here, facing off against 2 fully armored CTs for such a long time. But, you know, in the end of the day, it's happy days for Windingo. This is a massive round. 5 alive. Money's going to be looking great for Windingo. And maybe this is how they started off here on the CT side of Overpass. Maybe this is when MIBR Academy needs to start getting worried. If you lose this buy round, you're pretty much letting the CTs get and grab that momentum.
Oh, this is a massive late we make it as well here immediately. Wait, they didn't even
have
realize.
no idea.
He's one of them. Oh no, surely not gonna get more than 1 out of this one. No! Again? They let him get away with more than 1? And not just on the B side, here's A as well. This is massive for Windingo.
Oh. PHX has realized it. He spotted the player towards upper toilets. That's really awkward for the Oper. Look at PHX. He's already towards the A-bomb side. The Oper's on a timer. He just needs to try and stay alive. Hold on to dear life. PHX is coming in from behind. This is such an awkward round. They should realize it, though. I have no idea how Faxwell is still alive. I have no idea how he's going to be able to run away. And somehow PHX and Faxwell have traded places. And now there's no way you're ready for Riggy. Riggy's got a free kill. You're not clearing that one out. He just came in from there.
Sure, he finds that one. Keep an eye on the kill feed for Riggy when he shows up. Like I said, free kill. Find the second. Ooh. Easy taps. That is crispy. Straight out of the KFC fryer. Next now in 1v2, the North B site. Should have a bomb plant, though. That's what the challenge Elizabeth gives away his position now to CT side. Oh, the rest wants to go for this immediately. This is risky. God damn if it doesn't pay off, though. Even through the wall. That's messy. It shouldn't work. But who am I to say anything if it works?
Yeah, I mean, the entire round was a little bit messy. The fact that Bishop lets everyone go past him, they don't realize he was up close. Then PHX got into a really good position. He spawns the Oper towards the upper toilets. Makes his way onto the A-bomb side, then back towards long. But then the Oper heads back towards toilets and runs back to the side. It was just a really awkward round, all in all. But in the end of the day, it's another one on the CT. And MIBR go for a half by a lot of utility and abundance of utility. And maybe a bit of a short surprise here. Who doesn't love a good old short pop, especially with a Tech 9?
I would imagine the CTs, but in this case, they're not playing up close. They're not going to be punished. No duels just yet. They know they've got the advantage when it comes to weaponry. Thinking of some double nades here.
Yeah.
And given what we saw from Rigi and Rastic towards the barrels, I'm not blaming them for trying to counter immediately.
Nope. They naded
5
barrel.
health. Wow, yeah. Just a little bit too far. For their current target, that's going to do a whole lot more than just their T-signs nade alone. And Freddy, he's got the bomb. His teammate, telling him, yeah, once in the smoke, watch out. I'm going to take care of this. Round's done, round's over. And another clean one for the CTs. Back-to-back rounds now, and their economy booming. Business never been better.
Yeah, when you think about it now, MIBR Academy were able to get just the initial rounds, right? I mean, yeah, it started really nicely for them with the pistol, the anti-force, the anti-eco. Every single one of those rounds was great. But then as soon as Windingo were able to get the guns out, it's been struggles for MIBR Academy. And that's the reason that they go for the tactical timeout. When you look at it, all things considered, 5-3 isn't a bad score when you're on the T side of Overpass. But just the prospect of you not being able to convert a single buy round, this is what makes it scary. The fact that you know that the CTs have built up enough economy to go for maybe, even if they win another buy round, maybe even go for a double full investment with Opes and full utility on everyone. And that's really scary. Right now, you need to win a couple rounds in a row in order to just reset the CT side economy. And you know that this buy round has to work. Card back on an Ope, AKs for everyone else, and they're gonna go for the boost yet again.
With the fast boost. No one though. No one's on the other side though. This time they do call it off early enough as well. This round itself. Again, we've taken short control. Windingo, they've been giving away short every round, if I'm not mistaken. They've had a more focus towards shutting down that monster play with the plays on barrels, smoking down, counter flashes from APC as well. They've been really ready for that monster pop. And last round as well, we saw them shut down the short play. It might be have been really struggling to get anything besides what they are being given. And other times as well, we've seen Windingo with the A takes. They went a little bit deeper towards A, not just once but twice, I think. They're not really afraid of anything. It's just that they're choosing not to fight some areas of the map. However, rotations off from the B side and coming back. There's a timing window this could work in. No, calling for backup. Hello? Wow. Card was ready for that, apparently. Now, let's see. How does this hold on at 4v5? Again, calling a couple players off the B side. They're relieving information of Monster completely. Letting this one go. Now, Phoenix Burns. Both of them need to find a couple of kills here, and Restic needs a turn, but won't do so in time. Alas, the side gets taken with 10 seconds left. Now, that could have been a little bit dangerous, but Windingo gave away the most important part of what I said. They've been shutting down monster pops, monster pushes. Not this time.
Yeah, that was a pretty awkward round. I felt like they had a good idea. I mean, yeah, as you pointed out, they've been letting them have short for free, but that's because of Bishop's presence towards the A-bomb side, right? Because of the fact that he's getting a lot of information, he's constantly going for those deeper plays towards balloons, towards fountain, towards long. So you can kind of trade off map control in that sense, but then towards B, it just felt like they were not sure on how they wanted to approach the scenario, right? You just see both players fall back towards the water area and just playing right next to each other, which is not really a good idea, especially when one of them, I think, was on the AVP. Just makes it really hard for Faxwell to get into a comfortable position. I mean, he's pretty much one and done there. One best case scenario, so a pretty awkward round for Windingo. I feel like they themselves would feel like they outplayed themselves a little bit, but as we pointed out, enough money to go for it once again, so you can try to right your wrongs. Bishop is going to go aggressive once again. This time around it's Connector, and MIBR Academy, essentially they make one of those B rounds work, and now they're back to A.
Yeah, this time we're not letting anyone get close in mid. They instead take the duels themselves. Spots the op. CTs this time they were prepared for more of a B-centric play. 3 from Connector ready to try to fight for this as well. The one man now this could be interesting for the bomb plant to see if they can contest this one, because now there's the first one. A site needs to be taken, bomb needs to be planted safe. Otherwise, problems will occur. Card, he spotted another one towards toilet, but there's still another in Connector as well that he's fighting against. And there goes Pratty resting with one of his own. MIB are in this post plant looking at like a little bit of trouble headed their way. Flashbangs up, trying to get anything into this, but unfortunate timings. Nades out, CTs. Retake looking pretty damn good. There goes one more, and Bruno's Burns likes to be caught here as well. Unfortunately, nothing he can do. 2 players watching for the cross, one of the defuse.
That's gonna be
real
close.
solid retake.
Yeah, but he's got it. It was a really solid retake, right? But it's the perfect call from MIBR Academy, so that's why it's even more commendable that Windingo were able to get away with it. The fact that MIBR Academy just sent it out middle, that was the only open space. They just smoke off Connector. They realized that maybe after the previous couple rounds, Windingo would try and recognize that, you know, a lot of a lot of the plays from MIBR Academy have been relying to having that short area of the map. So Windingo would try and counter that. So MIBR Academy just felt like they could have went away with, well, just getting a lot of space towards both Toilets and Banana, and they were able to make it work. It was a good call, but still, Windingo realizing what you're given to your opponents is the key to making those rounds work. A lot of damage done to Nyx early on. Nade to take him down. Great start to the round once again. Really good utility damage. And if that wasn't enough, Rustic's actually pushed all the way through Monster. He's dropped the bomb and he's isolated the players towards short.
And I was going to highlight the fact there was the utility used towards short led to a kill this time, so it might be Academy, right? They got kinda okay with it. They got content with what they've been given. Enough for Windingo to finally start shaking things up a little bit. My god. There's no cue for that either. Another clean round. I think 3 out of the 4 gun rounds that have been played have been clean rounds for Windingo.
Yeah. And that's really upsetting if you're MIBR Academy, because now you start feeling contained. Now is the point. And that's really dangerous for a lot of teams that are playing overpasses their map pick. If you're playing against a team that's semi-decent on CT side and realizes how to, you know, take space out of you and can play with confidence, can pick up fights and win them, you can start feeling claustrophobic on your T side. You can start feeling like there's CTs everywhere and they're just trying to pick up fights. I mean, look at Zero. He's trying to go down connector. One player is finding him and tagging him down. Another one is tossing an HE towards him. He just feels like wherever he goes, there's a lot of CTs waiting for him.
A whole welcoming committee, and this time they're not even wrong. 2 in connector.
If there is a flash for them.
Oh!
Ooh.
There was a
There actually was a
flashbang,
flash.
but... Yeah, I don't know how... that was Faxwell's flash. How did he get his teammate?
I don't think he did. I think he didn't flash the CT. It was just the T was fully blind, but still able to connect.
Fair play. That actually makes sense as well. But nonetheless... T side, they are getting away with a little bit of something. Looking to take connector back as well. Lost the space. They want to make sure that this is not just a ruse for the CT side. They're not going to try and re-aggress. They've got a little bit of time to play with. On that CT side, they're going for a gamble stack to SB. Now, in one of the early rounds that first one that MIBR won, it was a 4-man stack going to be. They called it off and left 2 there, and now this time it is fully reinforced. Every single player currently remaining in here towards that B side. Entry foul to make that not so well for the T side. Stopping the push. Card left in 1v1 against that off. He has the information where he was. Maxwell taking it up close to the bridge instead, but he doesn't know. Card went wide. Good molly limits the options over the CT. He knows it as well. And plays to his basics there as well.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Carr decides to go that wide. I mean, he knew that the opens right side towards CT. He knows that there is a timing for him to go out, but there is a good chance that the Oper just repositions towards the left-hand side towards Graffiti and just holds for the cross on the left-hand side of the bomb side. So it's pretty ballsy from Carr, but you know what they say. The only person that knows how to make an Oper feel uncomfortable in a fight is another Oper on the rifle. They know best.
They know best.
Forgot the lineup for the balloons molly there.
Just looking at the wall.
Yeah, Burns was just trying to find it.
Can someone shoot where he's supposed to
one of the
throw it?
bricks. Yeah.
All I know is it's a little bit off to the left and slightly upwards of the little thing, and I just eyeball it, and it all usually works out. But here, matchup. About to get a couple players his way in the smoke.
That was the bomb carrier.
First. The legs might show of Burns as well through that smoke if he's not careful. Hold on. Oh, wow. Another one of the traps sprung. They found Faxwell, sure. The CTs still show that they had more players this side as well. A quick 180's card. Hisen's offing. But can't recover the bomb not that easily. They're still looking for any other CTs to give them some sort of way back in here with 40 seconds left. They got time. Not a lot of it, and not a lot of life either. Not a lot of health. Card 1v3. Starts to feel the heat.
I mean, round's pretty much over. Card needs to start thinking about holding on to the AVP. 25 seconds, bomb dropped, and that was a big... I guess that was a big mismaneuver from my MIBR Academy. The fact that they want to walk through the toilet smoke and gamble it, that's all right, I guess. That's fine.
Yeah,
a lot
sure.
of teams
You
would
can
go for
excuse
this, but the fact that the first player that goes through is the guy with the bomb, and then as soon as he goes down, everyone else just doesn't know what to do. You can see it there, and you know it's pretty confusing because the bomb gets dropped, and you feel like if you run through the smoke and you die, the round is just over. But this is what's going through the minds of every single player. They're trying to fade the smoke and hoping that they're gonna get the fights, but then there was another CT player towards the upper toilet, so pretty impossible to do. So those little details there, those mini mistakes that MIBR Academy are making. Well, I guess sending in the guy with the bomb through the smoke first is not really considered a mini mistake, but those are the things that so far have made a lot of the rounds pretty impossible for them to get away with. I mean, you're still with 5 on the T side of Overpass, so from that point on, if they're able to get a 6th or even a 7th, that would be great for them, even with those misplays.
All right, running back with the mid play. Ooh, actually, no. Separating a little bit. I like this, though. I really like this, because Windingo, if they haven't been taking control towards the party fountain side, they've been playing slightly more reserved, and that's what the last couple of rounds have shown MIBR. There is a space that can be taken. And, well, they just did that. They took mid. They cleared it out for the time being. Now they're taking short, and now they're trapped. Now they're worried about it. Guard as well, he's looking for the flank, just in case. They got nothing in this round for the C side, unless the CTs are willing to give them some fights. And that's exactly what's happening! The CT side! There was no way in, but they have given them one. Crafted away. Freddy and Faxwell, what do you do? How do you do anything about this one? Up in heaven, Freddy with one, and this round swings back at the CT side's favor. Card, this time a doable round, not a 1v3. With limited time, but a 1v2 with the bomb close by. And CT is one and known to be heaven CT-ish maybe now as well, but where has Preddy maneuvered to? That's the question. Does he hear the sound?
He spotted him, but he doesn't realize it. He actually saw him on the first jump spot, but that's given away his position. Surely Card knows. He knows that there's one player towards the barrels. It's just nearly impossible to clear him out. Oh, that's a great reaction. Finds the first one, and now he knows where the second one is. Because of the smoke, because of the flash trajectory. He's thinking about going for the peak, though. Still needs to recover the bomb. Manages to get it, taps it. It's going to be the stick to the plant. It's Faxwell closing out the distance from the other side. Card. He's been able to make his way out of the bomb side. That's massive.
Smoking a flashbang, one flash and Faxwell, but this seems like a situation he only has to try and tap this to figure out where it is.
Oh, he's going to stick it.
Yeah. Card immediately swings and nails him. Denies the defuse. No ninjas, no sneaky plays here. And MIBR now 6 on the board. Right? Remember what we were saying? 5-3, right? Overall, not that bad of a scoreline considering the overall game. But when you look at it 5-3, right? They got pistol, the 2 follow-up rounds and all that. Now you're looking at it 6-8. Pretty solid for MIBR Academy.
It's really solid. I mean, 5 rounds as well could be considered solid. 6 rounds, you are the big favorite going into that second half for sure. Even if Windingo are able to get away with the pistol and the conversions, at this point you've done more than enough to make this game really competitive on map 1 at least. Which is essentially what you need. I mean, this is your map pick, so you are expected to do well. Windingo could still potentially get away with a 9-6 here on the CT side, but they'll have to make it work with a pretty worse for wear buy. 2 MP9s, 2 Deagles, only 1 M4, and the hands of Preddy, and one of those MP9s has already fallen to the AK of PHX. Nice opening kill. One thing that MIBR have been quite good at, I guess, whenever Windingo have decided to give it to them, and you know, that's one of the few occasions in which they will probably, because of the buy, is just waiting for the push from the CTs, right? Last round we saw that. It's really risky because they just paused with 4 people towards short, and it felt like nothing was happening, and it felt like they were getting pressured because of it. But then Windingo sooner or later in a scenario like this need to go for the aggressive play, and so far they've been good at punishing those.
Playing well off the defaults, playing off the positions they're in. Doesn't always work out, but when it does, it can pay off massively, given you win your gunfights, and so far. Right, maybe we were kind of saying Card, the constants. Then we've got Phoenix right now, who's stepping up as well, but the rest I mean, that second half might be a little rough on them nonetheless, but we'll see. Time will tell here. Out toward the B side, Nyx looks to entry out first, and he's got a couple players. Fully blinds the first one. Galil spray continues for a second. And the CTs, they keep on feeding the beast. Mibr Academy walking away with round number 7 at the end of this half, as well, as close as can be. And that's a good way to end as well. A couple of kills for Nyx. The Ozera as well. As good as it can be for Mibr Academy headed towards that second half now.
Yeah. I say that's one of the more decent B-sides we've seen from them. Now, the only problem that I have with this is that I remember what happened in the Furia game. In the Furia game, they were able to get away with 7 rounds on the T side and only 8 on CT. So for Mibr Academy, it feels like even though, you know, as a lot of teams, them included, they have a much higher win percentage on the CT side, right? A lot more of the rounds that they get on this map are on their defensive side of things. That's completely normal. We're talking about one of the most CT-sided maps in the pool. But for them, it just feels like if they're good on Overpass on a certain day, they're going to be good on either side. So let's see if that's going to count for the pistol round. Nyx with a great double. Card helps him out. It's actually a triple for the dual East of Nyx. And Card adds up with 2 more. It's a flawless pistol round going in favor of Mibr Academy, sorry. And I guess that answers a lot of questions. Windingo are not going to be able to run away with the pistol in the convergence of the second half.
No, now you said it, right? Even if they were to, Mibr Academy have already done more than enough to make this competitive. Now they're looking really damn solid to try to take this first map as well, at least put them in the right place to do so. Economically speaking, this round will give them a bit of a stepping stone. It's just about how many players they end up losing. That's the question we'll have to try and answer here as well. But only 2 players towards the A side. Now, for Windingo, we started seeing from the very start of the game, they were playing 3 towards that B side, or A side, excuse me, quite a bit. They weren't really too afraid of it. But here, they've got a couple of cheeky, or a couple of more reserved plays on the CT side. Potential cheeky plays. Well, what's Card up to? Is he holding down or is he hiding? I'm not entirely sure. I think he is hiding. Oh no. Was watching with a boost. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, would make no sense for them to be hiding against the pistols, I guess. Especially when, as soon as you confirm it's just Glocks on the other side, you can go for it. Now, that's a bit awkward. 1v1 rifle against the Glock, and the Glock has made the famous go for the run.
Yeah, no, you just said, right? It wouldn't make too much sense to be hiding from these Glocks, and doesn't do too much, or it doesn't go too well for you, even if you are pushing against the Glocks as well, who don't know how many players there could be long. Well, it's a little unrestrained, perhaps, with the CTs, but it seems like the trouble has passed. The turbulent tides they might have had, no longer there. Instead, the 9th converted. They do lose 2 players at the end, if I'm not completely mistaken, so...
Yeah.
Right, it's not flawless, it's not perfect, but it will do. They at least get that M4 back, that's what matters.
Yeah, I'd say good damage for the T's. Considering you go into the round with 5 Glocks, you're gonna be happy with 2 kills. Now, the big test is here now. 5 AKs being brought out of Windingo's side. They make this one work. We could be in for a pretty competitive game of Overpass. They lose it, Mibr Academy could be running away with the momentum. And by the looks of it, they will be trying to do so. A pretty aggressive maneuver from the first buy round. Nyx has gotten himself into a great position.
Giving a little bit of back what they received themselves. But maybe not to such extent, at least not yet. Windingo overall, slow to default this one out. They've got connected control, that's where this all begins afterwards. Also towards party as well, making sure no one's there. Playground is still gotta be that question. CT's problem is they're not gonna have any information that mid indeed has been taken. They're not gonna get any sort of real confirmation besides that utility thrown. So if Rigi, for example, if we were to check this, right? Nyx is not going to be ready for it. On the CT side are playing this down a man now with 50 seconds left and a little bit of pep in their step toward that site as well, trading out Card. Leads to this downfall of the A side. There we go, get those words out in the right order.
You had one of those letters, oops. Have you had that when you were younger? You just have one of those soups and you're trying to get a spoon that actually makes sense with a word. I've played with that so much time.
I'm trying to think.
You haven't had a... No way you haven't had one of those soups with the letters. No way you haven't.
I
Everyone
really am
has.
trying to think. I'm trying to think so damn hard, but I don't remember.
There's no way you haven't.
I did not have a childhood. My whole life's based on a lie. I really don't think so.
I really do feel sad for you if you haven't. That's prime childhood experience, but...
Alphabet soup, I would imagine, is A tier, but I don't...
Yeah, it is.
Damn. Why'd you have to make me remember something like this?
And just making you brainstorm.
I'm gonna go call my mom tomorrow. Ask why I didn't have that.
Yeah. Mom, remember the problems that we discussed the other day? I know why. I know the answer, and it's
It
your
all
fault.
stems from one problem.
And it was
No
you.
letters in my soup.
Those boring soups that you made me consume every single and each day. But when Windingo were able to get away with one by round here on the T side, it was a great reaction in the previous round, something that we kind of forgot to bring up. As soon as they find that first kill onto the player that was aggressive towards party or playground, that was Nyx, they just react accordingly. They realize that there's going to be a lot of space towards Banana and Toilets for the taking. They're able to catch the second player off guard in the middle of nowhere, refrag him 1-for-1. And that was pretty much the bomb side under a locking key. So getting things started here on the T side really nicely. Especially if you're able to convert and make that 2 in a row. You're going to be resetting the CT side economy. No Ope yet on card. He's only on the scout. And the famous for Nyx as well. So that A bomb side a bit weakened up. Burns has been tagged down early on. Down to 68, of course. Nothing too dramatic about it. But Windingo have been really slow and methodical with this round, and it feels like after showing some presence over towards the A-bomb side, it's going to be a B play indeed. Not a lot of information for both teams. And not a lot of util left on the CTs. Actually, no utility left, just one smoke, and it's been deployed towards the barrels.
Good time at least to throw it if it weren't now. 20 seconds remain at the T side. They're still walking up, and because of the smoke. Oh, through the smoke, the head pops in, CT side, and next duo. I said at the second half, you need to get these individuals who were struggling the first half to step up, and he's done so. Maxwell will do good for one, but the bomb now dropped as well. This round comes to a close. Windingo, I thought they had that one, but half a second too early, the head pops through the smoke saying, hello, how you doing? Like whack-a-mole, and immediately the FAMAS slaps it away. Nice entrance.
I think it's because the smoke actually failed. I mean, the smoke didn't land in the way that it's supposed to, so it actually left the gap for the T's to go through. And he tried to. He thought he had a play. Actually, that gap, well, costs him. And I think the flash wasn't perfect either because the barrels player wasn't fully blind. Maybe it was a flash designed only for the water player, but I don't think he was blind either.